Yes, people. Good evening, good afternoon, wherever you're watching from. Welcome back to the channel, and welcome to a very quick Bahrain Grand Prix preview ahead of tomorrow's race. It's going to be interesting to talk about what the events that happened today. I mean, obviously F1 there's always drama on every single circuit. Throughout the year, there's always going to be something to talk about. And today we've had a very crazy disqualification from two drivers from from Mercedes. So yeah, I think we'll get into that. And King, how are you doing? Obviously, welcome back to the channel. And yeah, let's get it straight in, man. Busy week
Yeah,
ahead.
yeah, I'm good, man. Actually, today's practice and qualifying was very interesting.
Mm,
I was expecting McLaren to be more dominant during the qualifying, which they
yeah,
were up until Q3, which was it was a weird one for me to see other teams up there. It was
yeah.
good to see Leclerc up there. But yeah, we'll talk about that and more. But I think it's a missed opportunity from McLaren. I think they've been the superior car
100%.
over the weekend so far. So for them not being one and two in terms of quality, yeah, it's a mistake on their end.
I hear it. I was kind of disappointed with the free practice results. I know it's not. I know the be all end all. I know it's not the be all end all, but I just want to say, Charles Leclerc, you had the most laps, and you still didn't have the fastest time on free practice. So that's kind of a bit disappointing. But it is what it is. But we'll get more into that. And obviously, yeah. Where do you want to start, man? Where do you want? I mean, there's anywhere we could start anywhere. We could start with Mercedes' double disqualification, or you want to start with the the crash? You want to talk about you know anything you like. Just go ahead, man. The floor is yours. You can start.
I think with the Mercedes, them getting the penalties, I think it was very. It's sad because they actually had a good qualifying, so I don't know exactly what they did specifically, but yeah, for them two to get one grid penalties each, considering they did so well, and Kimmy's been really showing that he's able to compete with Russell as well. I think Mercedes have a really good lineup this year, and I think they really surprised me in terms of their package of car this weekend. I didn't expect them to be as quick as they were. So yeah, it was just one of those things. I think what they released them too early. Um, after Ocon's crash, and that cost them. So it wasn't even driver error; it was the team's error, which is was probably frustrating for them because you had a guy that was going to be on the front row. Now he's on the second. Had a guy that was going to be on the second row. Now he's on the third, and every position matters in these vehicles because it's very difficult to overtake unless you have overspeed and the pace of the cars between especially Ferrari and Mercedes, they're very close pace wise. So it's going to be very difficult. George is going to need to have a brilliant start to get past Leclerc in the beginning, and also for Kimi being behind Gasly. If he doesn't get past him quick enough, that's going to be a person that you can get stuck behind on a DRS train. So yeah, it was a very interesting qualifying, say the least. But yeah, it's unlucky for Mercedes that that happened. But if you make mistakes like that, you get punished.
Yeah, and especially what, going into this weekend, I thought Mercedes were one of the faster cars, looking like they were the faster cars on the grid. Though those two cars looked like they were the fastest cars, along with obviously like you said, going into this weekend they had McLaren behind as well. McLaren have been a letdown. Like, trust me, I know the free practice results don't mean much, but if you actually go and look at the results compared to what we expected for the weekend, we all thought the McLaren were going to go 1 and 2, and then we all thought Mercedes would just follow up in 3 and 4. And Mercedes had a double disqualification. That for me is a complete disappointment. Like the potential was there for both those cars to have a great race, to have a battle, and I think the team let them down because setting them back out before the green light has really costed them a grid. Okay, maybe it might not cost them the race tomorrow. It's still up in the air. You just never know what could happen tomorrow, because one crash could change everything tomorrow. And I don't like to be, you know, I don't like to say, oh, there's gonna be a bad accident tomorrow. I don't wish that on anyone, right? But one accident could change anything tomorrow. It really could, because we saw what happened today with was it Ocon that crashed out today?
Yeah,
Yeah, and that changed the outcome of where Mercedes finished. Because look at Mercedes, they came out late. They came sorry not late. They came out early, but from the red flag. They came out earlier than the green light. So yeah, that was a bit of a disappointment by Mercedes, and obviously McLaren. Oscar Piastri doing his due diligence, but Lando Norris and Max Verstappen as well. Not to mention Max Verstappen as well. Let down, complete letdown by the team. What do you think? What do you think was the issue with Lando Norris and Max Verstappen? Because I think they were ones to talk about as well. They finished in, was it P7 and P6 together or something like that? I can't remember
yeah,
exactly what they
yeah.
finished, but yeah.
I
What do you
think
think was the issue with those cars, and why did they finish? Was it the hydraulics? Was it the weight of the car? What was it?
no, I think with Norris it was a personal error. I think his car had the speed. As you could see,
Right.
Piastri finished P1, so the McLaren was by far the quickest car out there. So it was for Norris. This is the issue that I have with Norris at times, is that
Yeah.
he makes mistakes in qualifying, and this is, you can't do this, because every mistake you make and every time you're behind your teammate, that gives your teammate more opportunity to win the world title, to win the races, to be the dominant partner in terms of the one to get the better hand of the tactics from the team, because he's in better place to win the race tomorrow. So for Norris, he needs to kind of buck up his ideas, because he's meant to be the number one driver. He's meant to be the leader of the team. You can't afford to have bad qualifying. You're meant to be P1, and Piastri is meant to be P2. That's how it's meant to be if you're the number one driver in the team. By you doing that, you've let down yourself down in a sense, and even he probably in his own admission knows that he knows that the car had a lot more in the tank than he gave it. So I think for him, I think that was driver error. For Verstappen, it was different. The car was never good enough. I think the Red Bull car in Bahrain, in the conditions that it's in, Verstappen isn't a miracle man. If you don't give him the car that's able to compete, which Red Bull haven't, there's gonna be races where he's gonna be let down by the car. There's only so much he can do beyond the capabilities of what the car can show you. So in terms of qualifying, the car was never there. They were very lucky to even make Q3. Both the driver finishing ninth and 10th in the second qualifying run, and if it wasn't for other drivers making little mistakes here and there, maybe Sonoda or Max both could have been out of the third qualifying, or never made it to it. So I just think he did overperform the car, because he got to seventh, so he finished above a couple drivers. I think Lewis would be upset because he underperformed what he could do. Carlos would be happy. He got a nice little P8 in that Williams, considering Albon didn't make past Q1 on his own admission of mistake, on a mistake of his own admission. So the Williams car has shown to be the best of the rest type of car. I think if you look at the top 10, Gasly and Sainz are the two real overperformers, but and then the underperformers for me would be Norris and Lewis. They should have been higher than they are, and I feel like for Norris, he needs to do a lot in the race to get back his momentum. He needs to pass some of these cars, and it's going to be very difficult. It is a track that you can maneuver, you can pass through. He has the quickest car, so he's going to have to be on top form in that race, avoid any accidents in the first lap, and we'll see what happened for him. But yeah, Max can only do so much. I think Red Bull don't have the car at the moment. I think right now, if you look at the weighting of the cars in this racetrack in particular, it's McLaren ahead by a mile, then it's Mercedes, then it's Ferrari, then it's Red Bull, and then it's the rest. Probably Williams fifth, and maybe Alpine just behind it. I think Gasly had a brilliant qualifying, and I think he just overdid the car by a million miles and showed why he is a great driver, can be a great driver at times. But yeah, Norris his own mistake. Verstappen did what he could with the car, but yeah, that's what I got to say about that. What do you think? You reckon?
I think it was. I think this weekend going to it, I think the grip is really difficult to manage as well, because you saw earlier in the race, right? Both Kimi Antonelli and Lewis Hamilton in one of the sectors, or it's not one of the sectors in Q3, had their times deleted because they went off track. So the track temperature might play a huge factor in this weekend. It might play the grip might play a huge factor as well. It's going to be really hard to grip as well in terms of the race. Like the race will be very sorry. The race will be it'll be a tough what do you call it'll be a very tough race in terms of the track temperature is, like I said. However, that should not stop Max Verstappen from losing his his mindset is different compared to most drivers. Like Max, he has that mentality of he's gonna go for it still. But then again, this weekend it depends on the conditions as well, and I think the conditions might play a huge factor into it might be a disadvantage for Red Bull, because you look at the what's his name, Yuki Tsunoda. He's now finally made it to Q3. So Red Bull, the second car has finally made it to Q3. So that's something for Red Bull to look at and be like, you know what, we can improve on this in races to come. Carlos Sainz has made it. So this is my point. I think for some drivers this weekend, the grip was not there. They've definitely lost grip. And for me, I'm looking at Lewis Hamilton like he looks a lot slower than usual, and Max does not look up at the same pace. It'll be a bit of a struggle, but hey, listen, I can't really comment too much on what I think unless I see it tomorrow myself. I can only tell what's gonna happen tomorrow, because I can only tell what will happen during the race tomorrow, because like I said before, track temperature is very key when it comes to a race. You know what I'm saying? And your front wing needs to be perfect as well in this race, because you need the grip. You need the grip in this race. We all saw with the way Lewis Hamilton went off track, with the way Kimi Antonelli went off track. It's not going to be easy to manage the tires tomorrow. So you're gonna have to be on point. Like your driving needs to be on point tomorrow. Penalties. I won't be surprised if multiple drivers get multiple penalties tomorrow, because they're gonna go onto the gravel, because they might be forced onto the gravel tomorrow. So I won't be surprised if it happens. I won't be surprised if multiple drivers get penalties tomorrow. So yeah, that's all I can really comment. That's all I can really comment tomorrow. Do you have any more to say on this, or do you wanna move
Yeah,
on? Yeah,
yeah. I
go.
think the only other thing we can really say is that the you're right in terms of track conditions. I think if it's a cooler race, it will suit the Ferrari car more. I think the
Yeah,
Ferrari car is a lot better in cooler conditions.
medium.
If it's a hot race, then I think Charles is gonna struggle to keep that P2. I think he's gonna
Yeah,
be one that might get taken by the Mercedes, by the McLaren. So it'll be interesting to see how the race pace is and what tires and what decisions team make in terms of the strategy for the
yeah,
race, because I feel like the Mercedes are the second best car, and they have two up there, so they can try some different things, and I think they'll be a bit more aggressive than McLaren are when they have two drivers up there. So it'll be very interesting, and also I think with the likes of Sainz and Gasly up there, they can be a hindrance to some of the top teams as well. So I think if you're in any idea of if you're Norris, I think the main aim is to get past Gasly as soon as you can. If you can get past him, anything above you, you can catch up to outside of maybe your teammate. Because as I said, the McLaren is the best car, but you don't want to be bogged down in a DRS train, and especially with the fact that after one lap you get DRS, you
yeah,
can be in a position where you're behind other cars, your tires are overheating, you're not able to pass, and we saw it last week in Japan that if you're bogged down behind a car, it can be very difficult to pass them. You may have to go to extreme methods to pass. So it'll be very interesting. But I would also say this with Max as well. If you look at the timings, he was nearly just under a second quicker than Sonoda. So he is overperforming the car. Just the car isn't there this race weekend.
Yeah,
So McLaren should aim to finish 1-2, and I think they can still do it. Norris needs to have one heck of a race. I think it's Piastri's win to lose. And unless his team strategy is terrible, I think he wins the race. And I think most likely we're probably going to see McLaren, Mercedes. I don't know if Charles is going to be able to keep within the front three if the track conditions don't suit the car.
yeah,
For me personally, so P4 maybe P5 for Charles, and we'll see what happens, especially with the likes of Gasly and Signs in there and other drivers and things happening. You never know. So but yeah, it's going to be a good race. It's going to be entertaining. I'm happy that Charles had a good qualifying. I expect more from Lewis. I need to see more out of him. It's three races in, 3-4 races in. So himself has said in the interviews that he needs to do better. I'm going to need more from him in the upcoming races.
yeah,
And I like what I'm seeing from Charles. He's doing better with the car. He's done better over the weekend, and that's what we need. If he wants to become the leader, if he wants to become the main man, that's what he needs to do. He needs to show that the car has pace, show that he can do top qualifying, which he has. To get third is brilliant. To be ahead of a Mercedes and a McLaren is brilliant. So yeah, more of that, and I'm excited for the race. I think it's going to be a good one, especially considering that you have a Lando and Max close to each other as well. So having the two world title fighters next to each other is going to be very interesting. You never know if you're going to get a crash between them two, jostling for positions and things of that nature. So it's going to be an exciting first lap, definitely.
yeah. But you say about P4. You say P4, P5 for Charles. You think you don't think he'll finish in the podium tomorrow?
No, I think it's going to be very difficult to stop the Mercedes behind us, especially considering I feel like they'll have the better race pace. Over the weekend, they've shown to be quicker than us. And the thing is, if it's a hotter race, the Ferrari is very finicky when it comes to heat and when it comes to wind. So if it's windy, if it's hot,
Yeah,
then yeah, it's going to be a lot more difficult for him. I don't. It's not against his ability. It's more the car than him. I think he has the ability to keep that P2, but I don't know if the car is going to allow it for him to give him the
no.
pace.
The thing is, it's a night race tomorrow, so it might play into the hands of
So, oh yeah, true. So if it's a night race cooler, then yeah, the Ferrari's going to be a lot more racy. So I might be wrong in that assumption. Maybe he gets a P3 at minimum,
Yeah,
but I think George is going to be quicker than him.
because I looked at Charles today, and you know what? I sent you a post earlier in the week about Ferrari adding some, making some upgrades or something to the car, or adding some hydro. I'm not so sure what hydraulics they added to the car or something like that.
Yeah.
They added something to the car, right? Some upgrade, and I'm like, okay, can this be something? But I'm like, do I trust Ferrari? No. But then Charles did look a lot faster today, so I'm like, okay, there is some promise. I know it's not. I know it's not the real race. I know it's just qualifiers, but now that there is a chance. Hopefully that he does capitalize. But then again, like you said, Mercedes, the pace might be there for them. So I think it'll be a bit tough. Um, can Lando Norris step it up? Not so sure. He doesn't look really pacey this weekend. So doesn't Max Verstappen. I mean, Carlos. It's nice to see Carlos Sainz in the conversation in Q3 again. Yuki Tsunoda in the conversation in Q3. So Red Bull do have something to look forward to now. Yuki Tsunoda has finally got them into a good position going into this weekend. I think both drivers will get points as well. So yeah, Yuki Tsunoda, we'll see. Because like I told you guys last weekend, they need to put their faith in Yuki Tsunoda now, and this is where I think they start to do it. They had to put their trust in Yuki Tsunoda. He's still a really good young driver. So there's definitely a chance that he can push on from here. But yeah, you want to continue anything more? You want to add anything more?
Yeah, I think I disagree on the Lando point. I think he has had pace over the weekend. I just think he made a mistake in the Q3. So I think over race pace, I think that McLaren's going to do him justice. So I think he's going to be one to watch out for in terms of going up there. He may even get a sneaky P3. Because I think it's going to be very difficult for Charles and Kimmy to keep him at bay. I don't think he'll catch up to George because I think George will be finished P2, and then it'll be probably Piastri P1. But who knows? That McLaren's shown that it can be up to half a second quicker than the rest in the right conditions. So we'll see. We'll see how quick that car really is tomorrow. So who knows? I think Lando's is gonna have it. Lando and McLaren are gonna have a good race. I just think it's probably just a bad look that he's P6, and well, for his sake he needs to have a race where he does get a podium. Because I don't think Max is gonna get a podium, but if he does, that solidifies him top of the championship, and if he can finish 2-3 places above Max,
Yeah.
which is very likely, that's gonna add to his chances. But he also has to be wary of Piastri, because if Piastri gets a 25 pointer, then Piastri gets into the conversation, and then McLaren are gonna have to ask who is the driver that we're gonna put the rocket fuel behind in terms of the drivers' championship.
Sorry, which
So
driver you said? Sorry, which driver you said will finish a few places above Max again? Which driver did you say?
Norris has the ability to.
Yeah,
He
yeah,
has
of
the
course.
he has the car. He has the
Yeah.
car definitely to do it. Definitely to get a podium place if he is if his first lap is exceptional, he has to have a quick start. He has to get past Gasly minimum, a couple drivers Gasly minimum, and he needs to be on it from the start. If he isn't, then it's going to be a long day because I don't think he'll catch up to Piastri. I think Piastri will manage the race. I think he'll be the one to beat, but he can definitely catch up to the Ferrari and the Mercedes because that McLaren car in certain conditions has been phenomenal over the weekend. And I'm also excited to see Hadjar. I've liked what he's been doing. It's a shame for Oliver Behrman to not first time not making it past Q1 as well. Um, and yeah, first time he finished below Ocon. Obviously, Ocon scary little crash. It's good to hear that he was fine afterwards. It's always scary when you see a crash at high speeds like that. And yeah, there's not really much else to say. I think there's not, I don't think there's gonna. I think the top 10 will probably stay the same, there or thereabouts. I think the only one that maybe has a possibility of not making it in the points is probably Sainz if Williams don't give him the right, tools. Because I think there's cars behind him that in the 11th to 13th region that are just as quick and can cause problems. So I think if Williams can get a P10 or 9, that'll be great for them, and it'll be great for Science to get points again because it's been a while since he's got into the points, and yeah, I think with Albon not nowhere near the top 10, I think it's going to be on Science to get points for Williams. Gasly's going to get some good points for Alpine as well, so the mid table race is going to heat up a little bit as well with the points that possibly Gasly and Science could get as well.
Shall we get straight into predictions
Yeah.
for this week? I'm gonna go with apologies for the background noise once again. I'm gonna go with Oscar to win the race. I'm gonna go with George Russell, Kimi Antonelli, Charles Leclerc. Top four. That's my top four. Yours?
Oscar, George, Norris, Kimi fourth, Leclerc fifth. I just think the McLaren and Mercedes are too quick, and I think Norris will probably do I think what he'll do is go longer in a stint. I think he'll have a different type. He may start with a different tire type, or he may go longer into the stint and still be able to keep the same kind of level of speeds, especially if he gets a good start. Yeah, I think he'll finish P3. He may even finish P2. So yeah, the top three, yeah. Oscar to win, George P2, um, Norris P3, Kimi fourth, Charles fifth. I just think Ferrari just don't have it yet. I've seen improvements on the car, but I think they need a bit more to it. I think there's more they need to eke out of that car. I think there's more they need to do. I don't think they're anywhere near McLaren and they're just behind Mercedes at the moment. So that's my top five. I hope and I pray that Charles can be up there and he
Yeah,
gets
yeah,
the
yeah,
right
same.
conditions. I hope and pray. So
You never know.
'cause
You know, sometimes sometimes, like I said, a red flag, whatever can change anything. So you just never know. So hopefully Ferrari do get a good grip on the tires tomorrow because, like I said, the track temperature, the grip will not be easy to manage tomorrow.
yeah,
So you have to manage your front wing, you have to manage your tire as well. So yeah, tomorrow's gonna be interesting. Um, do you have like an outsider? Anyone like an outsider that could potentially cause some trouble in the top four, apart from Lando Norris, apart from Max Verstappen? Obviously, like, do you think anyone else apart from them can? Do you want to give a name?
yeah. I think Gasly might be an issue for some. I think if he gets a good start, if he gets ahead of a few, even though he probably doesn't have the car to compete, DRS trains are the possibility, and he can maybe get a better position in by the end of the race if Alpine
Yeah,
does him right with strategy and with in terms of slowing the cars behind him. If he gets the right positioning in, he's going to be someone to look at. And Carlos Sainz in that Williams. I think those two are the only ones that are the two outliers are the ones that are going to be interesting to see what they do in the race. If they fall back or if they are able to maintain that position. But yeah, outside of them two and Norris, I don't think anyone else is going to really move up like that in terms of the top 10. Uh, yeah, so, but I also will say this: as much as I put Kimmy fourth, I could as much see Kimmy finish second and George finish fourth. The Mercedes drivers for me are interchangeable in the aspect of I think they're both brilliant drivers. Um, at the start of the season, I doubted Kimmy, but yeah, seeing him in a couple races, seeing him do it in multiple conditions, yeah,
he's
he's the truth. He is the truth.
he's definitely got to be rookie of the year for sure this year for me. As things stand, he's
Yeah,
definitely rookie of the year. So
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, for me, out of the rookies, him and Hadjar have been the most impressive. Third, Oliver Behrman. Oliver Behrman is going to be a future Ferrari driver, no doubt. I think if in a couple years, if they don't stick with Lewis, I think he's a guy that a lot of top teams are going to look at. I think he has a lot of potential. So yeah,
fourth.
those three are going to be in the thing for the long time. What are you going to say?
What do you think they bring Carlos Sainz back?
No, I think once you've moved on I think he's gonna stay with Williams for time and then move on to maybe like an Audi or Cadillac or someone. I think him and Albon at Williams, that's the perfect team for both of them. They can both bring that team back to glory, and especially with 2026 with the new regulations and the way the Williams is looking now. Yeah, I think the Williams are going to be a problem next year, especially because it's looking like the Mercedes power unit is going to be the best power unit out there in
Yeah,
2026. So if that's the case, especially with the way things are going, Williams, McLaren, Mercedes, those three cars, if you're in those teams, I think it's the right decision for you going forward. And it's just going to be out of what Ferrari's the only other power unit that's going to look good, I think, as well. And if Ferrari get it right, they're going to be a team to mess with as well. So it'll be very interesting to see what happens. But yeah, I think
yeah.
Sainz's way needs to be. I think he can be him being the elder statement on that team. Um, him and Albon being probably one of the better partnerships out there. I think I don't see him moving anytime soon. If Ferrari need a new driver, it's probably going to be Oliver Behrman, or if Max becomes available, because the way the Red Bull is downgraded and declining, I think he might move. sooner rather than later.
Ferrari got to do everything to throw all that money at Max. You know what I mean? Like, I, we know one day it has to happen. So yeah. Nah, Ferrari mostly get the best drivers anyway. Like Sebastian Vettel was here, Michael Schumacher for me, who was my goat. Yeah, was here. Um, Senna was not though.
No, he wasn't one of the.
Lewis Hamilton's here, so you never know in the future.
Alonso was
So was
for
there.
a good.
Yep,
Yeah, he was quality when he was there.
yep,
He turned that Rust bucket into something special. He drove it. Yeah,
yes.
he
The
deserved better in Ferrari. I think they should have done more for him.
I think Vettel deserved better, bro. Vettel deserved
Yeah, especially towards the end. They were
quite a
disgusting
bit.
towards the end.
Fucking Binotto, bro. Honestly, this guy, bro, he ruined Ferrari completely, man. What really could have been for Ferrari? You know, they could have won so many more championships,
Yeah.
and it's just thrown away by incompetence, like I said. But yeah, I don't think we have much to say unless you want to talk more about something. We can close out on something if you wanna.
No, I think there's nothing else. I think just looking forward to Bahrain. I think this
Yeah,
is gonna be very. It's gonna be a very interesting night race. I like these type of races. It's a bit of a spectacle. So I'm just excited. I'm excited. I'm excited because last week the race was so bad for me, and I need a more entertaining race. I just need something
yeah,
because sometimes there's back to back weeks of races. Like there's races where it kind of like, why am I watching this sport kind of thing? But
mm,
then there's a race like Bahrain that can add a bit of spice to it. And this is a triple header, so we got one other race coming next weekend as well. So it's going to be very interesting going forward to see what happens. But yeah, that's all I got to say. Forza Ferrari.
yeah. Forza Ferrari, I hear it, bro. Come on, we gotta bounce back, man. Ferrari needs to get back onto the board this year. We got one sprint, but that's all about it. And then they made changes, and that just changed everything, bro. Ferrari never should have made changes since the end of last season. Should have kept everything the same. Sprints would have been good, right? Don't make changes. Make changes, and bro, all falls apart. But yeah, I think we'll wrap it up here. Thank you for coming on once again, King, and I'll definitely see you tomorrow for the review. People, I am one sub away from 175 subs. I know 175 is not much, but let's get there. One sub, we'll do AIN Sports on YouTube. Make sure you head over to the channel and subscribe if whoever's watching from Twitter. And thank you guys for tuning in today. Like, share, and subscribe. I'll be back tomorrow with King, but hopefully Augustia will be here tomorrow as well for the F1 review. So yeah, until then, we're out. Take care. Peace.
Peace.